So, day 3, early morning start in South Korea. Go for breakfast.
Welcome to day 3 of this mini-series in South Korea. If you've clicked on this video and haven't seen part 1 or 2, feel free to watch it from here, although it might be worth going back to part 1 to get familiar with the people who've come on this trip with us. I'll put a clickable link at the top of this video so you can watch this series in South Korea from the start. If you continue in watching us from day 2, Hamsamida, as they say in Korean, and if we've got a very interesting and fun day ahead for you. We started off the day nice and early, as you can see, and the weather's a little bit foggy this morning and the temperature was around 8 degrees. I'm not able to show you any footage, unfortunately, from the first place that we went because they told me that I couldn't record. You didn't miss anything special apart from some facts about ginseng and them trying to sell us some tablets at a ridiculous price, but they were only doing their job, and I'm guessing there's some agreement with a tour company that they get some kind of commission for bringing all those foreign tourists. This was some kind of dried fruit from a packet that Fang had bought, and I'm sure the health benefits outweigh the taste. I didn't really like them very much, but Fang seemed to like them. The next stop we went to was a duty-free place where again they try to sell us different items, in particularly cosmetics, and maybe I should have invested in some face cream. But they do say beauty comes from within, and it was another place that they didn't allow people to record. But you didn't miss much here. It was the next destination we went to that we were quite looking forward to, which is a Seaweed Factory. And if you saw our lunch yesterday from day 2, you might already know that seaweed's a very popular food source in South Korea. And if you've ever wondered how they process seaweed into packets, then look no further, because this plate made just about every type of flavoured seaweed you could think of, from wasabi flavour to bamboo and even fish flavoured seaweed. And I have to admit that they were very good at marketing the product in this place, as you can see on the screen now. Da Kwan and Fang bought enough of it, and I've got enough of a supply now to eat for the next year. After breaking the bank buying all that seaweed, we now come to a place called Hanbok, which is another one for your to-do list if visiting South Korea, because here you'll get to dress up in Hanbok, which is the name for a type of formal clothing that Koreans wear during holidays and special occasions.
Korean lady.
And Fang's wearing is that of a princess, and the one I've got on supposedly resembles a king. And we have a little bit of fun, and I can also do a little bit of cooking for you now.
Take a little bit of this, stick that in there like that, and then give it a little twirl around. That's how we do it here. We've got everything on show.
When walking around the city, and especially the temples, and I'll show you later on in this video so you can see for yourself, people do actually wear these type of clothes in public. I initially thought it was just a gimmick, although this place was a bit like that, but nonetheless, as you might have guessed, it was another good place to get some of those cool looking pictures in these colourful costumes.
Stick your head in there. Yeah.
We got the hint from the security guards in the building that it was time for us to leave, so we made our way back onto the bus to go to our next destination, which was for some lunch. For lunch today we had a nice treat in store, which was for us to have lunch in a unique destination aboard a boat in a restaurant situated on the River Han. Fortunately for me, being with Da, Kwan and Fang, they're used to this style of cooking and eating, being from Thailand. And I have to say, they did a very good job of keeping our dishes filled with a constant flow of meats and vegetables. And this dish that we're eating I can't pronounce, so I'll put the name of it on the screen for you now. Although it is known as Jejuk Bokkeum, and this is a popular Korean recipe made with stir-fried pork. And of course, being in South Korea, you can't let a meal go by without sampling some of the kimchi, which again is a traditional side dish here in Korea made with fermented vegetables. Back onto the bus again, and time for dessert. Fang bought some more of these lovely Korean strawberries, and I've got to say that they were absolutely delicious. And I find the taste even better when they're being fed to you, and don't worry, I have told her that she needs to make sure to take the green bit off the end in future. Only joking, all these trips would have not been possible without Fang, and although she's behind the scenes a lot of the time, she knows how much I appreciate everything that she does. And that's also one of the reasons I said I would make these videos, so we can store the memories of all the different places that we visited, as well as trying to inspire and pass on some of our knowledge and experience to you. I won't lie, I didn't think it'd be that difficult rocking up to these different places and recording videos and putting them on YouTube, but the more I'm learning, there's a little bit more to it than I first thought. But it's all worth it if I can brighten up your day or make you smile. We don't take ourselves and life too seriously, and we're all in it together. It makes me feel good helping people, and I hope you can come along with us to all these other places that we visit. Apparently YouTube's a numbers game, and I don't really care about the numbers, to be honest. It's quality, not quantity, so they say. I did feel a bit of a fraud asking people to subscribe and like the video, and I guess I just got that ID because everybody else does it, but I'm sure you'll do that on your own merit if you think it's worthy enough. Now I'm going off on one a little bit, so I'll get back to the room and show you this next place that we visited. You're going to have to forgive my pronunciation again, but I'm going to give this one a go anyway, and this is Changdeokgung Palace. And I'll put the name on the screen and let you decide if I said that right. I think I did okay on that one. It costs 3,000 Korean won if you want to enter, and these information booklets are free. We'd recommend allowing at least an hour and a half to see everything here. It's a 5-minute walk from the subway in Seoul, and you get off at the Hanbok station if you are coming by the subway. This palace, also known as the Palace of Prospering Virtue, is set within the large park of Jeonjo district. And I know you're probably expecting me to pull out the old, and I've made a video solely about this place, but I haven't, at least not yet anyway. So I'm not going to talk too much about the history of this place, just in case I do make a video. But this building here that we're walking up to now is constructed of wood, and as you can see, it's set on a stone platform, and it features a tiled hip roof with a corbelled multi-bracket system and ornamented carvings. This is in Jeong Hall, and back in the day this was the throne room of the palace, and although the interior has Chinese influence, the Joseon royal screen above and behind the throne is uniquely Korean. You don't get to say this very often when visiting palaces, but we shall go for a little dance now as Fang shows off some of her moves. And looking at those moves, you can see a call from Strictly Come Dancing on the cards. There's a lot of winding paths with lots of twists and turns, and this place you might recognise shortly as we take some photos with the ancient buildings in the background. This was the picture that gave me the idea for the thumbnail of this video. I'm trying to think how it come about, and I think me and Fang were joking around and I blocked the path so she decided to crawl through my legs. I think it was Kwan that took the photo. I hope that this has given you a bit of an idea of what this palace is like. We would highly recommend visiting here, as well as the next place that we're going to visit. And talking about this next place, it's conveniently a short walk away from the palace, and there's lots of shops near the area where you can get drinks and refreshments. And if you're wondering what that place is called, it's called Bukchon Hanok Village. It's a good idea to put the two things together in your itinerary as they're so close to each other. This traditional Korean village has a long history going back 600 years and is preserved to show the old urban environment. It's at the top of a hill, and a survey from 2,000 people was carried out to show that this place was voted the fourth favourite activity in Seoul. I'm not sure I'd go as far as that, but I suppose it's very subjective and depends on what you like to do. There's no doubt I'd recommend visiting this, as it's a fantastic place with lots of little houses you can go in and explore, and there's also a free walking tour, which we didn't go on as it takes 2 to 3 hours, and we wanted to go into Seoul to test out the street food and do some shopping, which is a bit of a giveaway as to what's coming up. However, if you wanted to go on the walking tour, you get to collect some stamps along the way from the different destinations, and at the end of the tour you get a keychain made up of all the stamps. I'm presuming at a cost, which could make a nice souvenir or reminder of your time here. The architecture is quite stunning in this place and something you no longer see in modern day society, unfortunately. See that sign behind you?
Please, no smoking here.
Talk quietly. That was our little tour of Bukchon Hanok Village for you, and is somewhere that I can actually pronounce. And as you can see, as we head back onto the main road, some of the people dressed in the traditional Korean clothing. Back on the bus again, we set off to go into Seoul city centre now, and as we were getting closer there was a heavy police presence, which I'm not too sure what that was for. It looked as if they were getting ready for some kind of protest. Although our bus was able to get through without any issues, and that took us to our next destination, which I was starting to get a little bit annoyed by at this point, because it was another duty-free place called Shinsegae. However, after going inside, it wasn't as bad as I imagined. I had preconceived ideas that they were going to try to sell us things again.
I have what you need.
We were just here to have a wander around at our leisure, so we had a look at all the different shops to see if we could spot some bargains. And I got to have a go at ordering coffee, again in Korean, which turned out to be a lot easier than yesterday.
Yes!
Because all I had to do was point and he understood what I meant.
Coffee. It's Myong-dong.
One.
Ready? What have we got?
Cappuccino. Iced cappuccino.
Doing our duties for the tour and seeing this place, it was now time to be let loose on the streets of Seoul and do some exploring for ourselves. We had a good 4 to 5 hours to do just that, and we were determined to experience as much as we could. As you can probably see, Seoul is a big city, and it's actually the 16th largest city in the world, with a population of around 10 million. That is when making this video in the year 2023. If you're watching this in the future, depending if we've wiped out the population with global warming or living on Mars, one thing's for certain, we could easily get lost in this city, so I took note of our pickup point for later, and we crossed the road and headed off to the Myong-dong area of the city, where all the shops and street vendors are located. It wasn't long before Fang and Kwan spotted something to eat, and I knew this was going to be a fun experience. Although I was also aware that I was going to have to spend the next 2 weeks in the gym burning off all the food that we were about to consume. You know. This place really did have it all, from all the different meats on the stick to one of my brother's favourite dishes, the good old kebab. And he would have loved this one too, as well as the price, at 8,000 won, which is less than £5 in English money. And I'll put the other currencies from your country on the screen for you now. Me and Fang tried something that I've never tried before either. What have you got there?
They call octopus.
Yeah, so first time trying a squid kebab. Quite nice actually. How is it? So which one are you getting?
And you pineapple.
Thank you very much. Right, taste test. Pink one for you.
Thank you.
Now she'll get a blue one.
Fresh.
Fresh.
Yeah, nice.
Fang did tell me off camera that these smoothies weren't as good as the ones in Thailand. We'll show you all of the many street stalls here now and go through what they've got, starting with the one we just walked past, which was the lamb on the sticks, and you've got all those different types of sausages there, and there's some little fishes that are like pastry filled with different kind of beans, and this one's a burger stall, and that fella's selling some chicken claws with duck by the looks of it. Those are Oreo Cheerios, which is a stall that's new for me. I've never seen that one before. And you've got fast food restaurants here as well as the good old Korean barbecue food. And as you'd expect, this wasn't all about food. I wanted to try to show you some other things as well. And I saw the sports shop. I thought it would be a good idea to go and compare some prices like we did on our videos in Singapore and Malaysia. These awesome looking trainers caught my eye, and it wasn't just because they were in the colours of the best up and coming team in the Premier League. Newcastle United, of course. Alright, it was mainly because of that. And I'll convert these from the price tag of 199,000 won onto the screen into the different currencies now. This rather fittingly leads us on to looking at these caps of Tottenham Hotspur, and not to rub it into all you Spurs fans, but what a good win for Newcastle it was against you boys. 6-1, 5 goals after 20 minutes. You got to let me have that moment of glory. And if you're wanting one of these, don't bother, get a Newcastle one instead. This good looking Adidas jumper will cost you 75,000 won, and I'll convert that again onto the screen for you. Other brands are available, like this brand here, which is popular all over the world, and Seoul's no different. It may be the biggest shop I went in solely for one brand, pardon the pun. Did you see what I did there? Using Seoul as in trainer and Seoul, the city. Never mind. And to our lovely Indian and Singaporean followers, I do apologise because you won't have a clue what I'm talking about, even with subtitles, or am I being presumptuous? If you are Indian or Singaporean or any race, I'm sure you understand puns, and I'll leave that in anyway because someone might have found it funny. These Air Maxes will set you back 175,200 won, and when I was a lad you could have bought 10 pairs for that. As well made as they are, I do believe the markup on these are extortionate. It's probably because they're still paying for sponsorship deals for well-known basketball players. But if you are watching Nike, I'll happily be sponsored by you on these videos instead of the usual knocked-off gear that I wear. I better be careful what I say. I don't really wear knocked-off clothes, only original fakes. There's Larry the Lobster, possibly the most famous of all pop culture lobster figures. And this stall must have every flavoured seasoning that you can think of. And it's not very often you come to a place and they name a square after you, so thank you, South Korea. I'm very humbled.
This is me, Mr. New. They've named this square after me. So.
It's okay, there's no need to worry. I'm not suffering from delusions of grandeur. That is one of my names, or at least that's what it states on my passport. And it's been a good hour or so since we've had something to eat, so I think it's about that time we took into another one of my favourite desserts, which is the pancake, or crepe as they're called in Korea.
Have two? Which one do you want?
Very cool. Maybe choose what you want.
Strawberry, please. No, just one. Yes, please. It's nice and healthy.
Like that. Exclude strawberry. Or healthy.
Some Frosties on top. Thank you very much. You want to try?
Try first. Yeah. Still hot.
Still hot.
Yeah, but it's very thin. Nice. Smell very nice. I think maybe you try
We wandered around for a bit while I ate the crepe, and I had an idea to go on the subway because I'd heard that it was one of the most quietest subways in the world. People also said that it was difficult to navigate if you were English because the lack of signs, etc. And I like a challenge, so I thought, well, why not give it a go? So we headed to what I thought was a nearby station to try it. This was Myong-dong station, and people weren't wrong either. We got lost after the first few minutes of going into it, and to get to the actual trains we didn't realise that we had to walk through a shopping mall. And you know what happens when you put a woman and shopping malls together, and that's not a joke by the way. They want to buy something, and luckily Fang's got good taste, as you'll see. That's nice, looks like Newcastle colours. Toon Black and White Army. We persevered and kept walking through the shopping mall, and I nipped to go and have a look at what the toilets looked like, because I'm a bit weird like that. There was also lockers, which I'd heard about previously, and people said that it's very safe to put your stuff in these lockers, and you can leave stuff in there for days, obviously at a cost. We kept on walking towards what we thought was going to be the subway trains, and around every corner there was another long walk, and it started to feel like a labyrinth. But because we had walked this far, I didn't want to give up, although time had started to creep upon us, and I started to become conscious of the fact that we needed to head back to our pickup point shortly to get the bus. Feeling close but not close enough, we didn't have the luxury of time to go on the train and may have got lost and ended up miles away from where we needed to be, so luckily we found a nearby exit and headed up the stairs where it was already starting to get dark. We knew it was only going to take around 30 minutes to get from here to our pickup point, which gave us enough time to go into this 7-Eleven to grab a few snacks. Oh, you're happy. Oh, got M&M's as well. One of them.
Have some too.
We head back to our pickup point now, the same way that we came, and cross the street via this zebra crossing. And it'd be interesting to know if that's what it's called in your country. We had 20 minutes until the arrival of our bus, and this gave us a chance to try out this lovely South Korean smoothie that I bought, and I have to say I quite like these with a little bit of jelly or whatever it is inside. The hotel that we're going to stay in for tonight is called the Ramada Han River Hotel, and it's near where we went for lunch earlier today. And as we drive past this well-known famous landmark bridge in South Korea called the Olympic Bridge, which spans over the River Han. An amusing little fact now about this bridge. As the name suggests, it was constructed for the Olympic Games in South Korea in 1988. But because it collapsed under construction, it wasn't actually completed until 2 years later after the Games in 1990. It was getting late and we started to feel tired by the time we got to the hotel. I had a bit of a stomachache, which was hardly surprising looking back now at all the foreign food that I'd eaten. We got checked in and headed up to our room, which was on the 5th floor.
5th floor.
Ding dong.
Going down.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Fang in her own world and me nearly getting trapped in the lift. We're coming to the end of this video now, and we'd like to say thank you for coming along on this journey with us. We hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. And this is the end of day 3. However, we still have half a day to go until we fly back home, and that's why we didn't call it 4 days in Korea, because I believe you can plan your itinerary to do a whirlwind trip here in 3 days. But what I'd like to do as a kind of bonus, you can tell those sellers were rubbing off on me, I'd like to make a conclusion video and include us going to a few more places, then back to the airport, as well as recap some of the best experiences and things you can do. So in a long-winded way, what I'm trying to say is there's another video after this one, and if you want to carry on the journey, you can do so. I guess all that's left to say is Kamsamida for watching. The next video is coming up on the screen for you now.